Welcome to the Loveland Report and Lone Ranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner, alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger. We are going to talk about what's going on in the real estate market. We're going to talk about what's happening with mortgage rates, what's going to happen in 2025 with real estate and mortgage rates. I think it's going to be a great year. Thank God.
All the indicators are showing that.
Thank God the Trumpster won, huh? But I got some numbers we're going to go into. We're going to dig in. I got the inventory. We're going to dig into 2025 optimism from some experts out there. And then we're going to talk about Florida's growth and in property in owning rental properties and in growth in the population and what's attracting everybody to the state of Florida.
Well, and we are actually going to be holding a class January the 22nd, and it's going to be all about how you can buy real estate, invest in real estate like the pros do. So Cleve and I are going to give you all the details. We'll talk a little bit more about that class a little bit later on in the next segment. But we also want to talk about what are the trends right now, who's buying right now, who's gotten off the fence, who's still on the fence right now, and what can we expect interest rates on mortgages to do since the Fed dropped the Fed rate another 1/4 point this week. So let's really dive into that.
Okay.
And but before we get into that, I want you to go over what do the numbers look like right here?
Well,
like, what are our Central Florida numbers look like?
Inventory, which tells us if we're in a seller's market or a buyer's market. Inventory divided by the number of sales.
Yes.
We're at a 5-month supply.
Okay.
Actually, just over. Actually, almost
that's,
a 5.
That's
actually almost
pretty close to a balanced
We've
market.
been in close to a balanced market. Now, we still got appreciation happening. But this number, Bruce, we've been at a 5-month supply for about 5 months. We're holding at about 11,500 homes for sale.
Okay.
The interesting thing, single-family homes are literally the same as they were for sale 6 months ago. The number of condos has climbed, which is because
that's
the dues
because
going
you
up in
can't get
insurance.
loans on condos.
Homeowners' dues are going up, so the price there's going to be a price adjustment coming in condo. Already is here. But the number of sales closed was good, like 1,800 for November, which is good. Last November was 2,000, so sales are down. Like 2024 is about 15% less sales than 2025. Excuse me, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but here's one high point here. Sales for November, homes that went under contract last month, 20% higher than last year. So only 1,700 homes sold last November, 2,000 homes sold last month. So we're going to have, so I think we bottomed out here. I'm going to call my shot and say we're going to start seeing more. I think 2025 will be better than 2024. Right off that, in January sales, there was only 1,700 sales last January. We've got 2,000 under contract. So we're going to beat last January already.
Well, that's great.
Those homes are under contract.
And you know what? That last January wasn't great, but
interest rates were low 7s.
Yeah.
And then,
so they're not that far from that.
They dropped high
right
6s.
Now.
Yeah. We still high 6s, mid 6s.
Yeah, you are. I mean, we've seen the market kind of just flutter up and down a little bit, but I think the national interest rate right now is like 6.9%, but we're seeing clients locking in the mid 6s, even low 6s from time to time. So just depending on credit score, how much you're putting down, what's your loan amount, what type of property you're buying. But you know, Cleve, when I look at interest rates, most of the time, your interest rate is in proportion to your credit score. So credit scores are so important. And I spend so much time with my clients educating them on how to get their score as high as possible. Even if I have a client that's got good scores and they qualify well, hey, if I can save you a little bit of money and we can adjust your credit score by 10 points, 20 points, 50 points, it can oftentimes save you a lifetime of money.
You talked about the people buying homes right now, and most of the time it is the people moving up, selling one house, buying another. First-time buyers are down to like around 20% of everybody buying. Usually that's about 28%, but right now we've got an affordability issue. Part of what's the affordability when somebody goes to buy a home is they've got their down payments. Now, we know you have all kinds of programs, and if they're a veteran, they're no money down. If they're USDA, they're no money down.
That's right.
Most of the time, you're looking at, what's your average down payment, 3 to 5%?
You know, it really depends. We go through different cycles, but I would say your average down payment's probably 10%.
Okay.
Because you have some people putting 20, 30%.
They sold another house. Yeah.
And then you've got some people that are coming up with no money. So,
and then there's the closing costs. The closing costs are about 4% of your loan amount. Roughly.
It generally lower the loan amount, the higher the percentage of closing costs.
So those things come into play, but that's a big part of it. So, but if you can get their credit score up 20 points and save them a point, that's going to help their money to close.
Absolutely.
So, but also what I talk about with my real estate planning is knowing your numbers and then saying, all right, well, this is what you need for a down payment. And this is where you're qualified to 600. What are we going to do here? This is your down payment. Loan arranger said you're 10% down. If you go 5% down, this is what you need. This is what you need for cost. But that helps me negotiate also, because right now I can go into most sellers and say, guys, this won't work unless they get closing costs. And they're like, okay, all right. Because they've been on the market for 45 days and they haven't sold. So most sellers are willing to give a little bit.
Isn't it incredible how many of our clients we talk to that have talked to other people in our industry and did not get that information, don't know the numbers? I had a client, he's a listener. He's a listener on the show. His name's Rich. And he lost his wife about a year or so ago, and he lives in a beautiful home on a lake, and he's downsizing and wants to buy another home. And he's buying new construction, and he talked to their lender. And I got on the phone with him because he said something just didn't sound right, Bruce. So I thought I'd call you. So I talked to him. They did not ask him any questions. They didn't really understand what his true needs were. I said, how much were you planning on putting down? He goes, I don't know. I said, well, when you're talking to the other lender, what was your down payment? I don't know. Well, what interest rate did they quote you? I don't know. Are they paying any of your closing costs? Well, I don't know. I said, well, what do you mean you don't know? Nobody's asking these questions. How much are your association fees?
You got to know the details. Yeah.
There were so many things he did not know. And you know what? God bless him, because he says, Bruce, my wife would have always taken care of this stuff, and it wasn't me. So he doesn't have a real estate agent, and he's already under contract with this builder, which is a problem. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't have a realtor and you're buying new construction, you don't have anybody to negotiate for you, because you don't know what these builders will do and won't do. So if you want new construction, Cleve and his team can help you with that.
Yes, definitely.
Call Cleve now, 407-352-8118. That's 407-352-8118, or go to cleveloveland.com. And he's got a team of buyer's agents, and you don't even pay them. The builder pays them. And Cleve, does a builder give a client a discount for not using a real estate agent?
No.
They don't give a discount for that.
Well, they know about 80% of their homes are going to get sold with a realtor.
So you think about that. And the average builder pays the buyer's agent, what, 2.5%?
No, the builders pay 3 or 4 sometimes.
Some do. Yeah. Some do. But let's just say it's 2.5%.
Yep.
So you're buying a $500,000 house, and they're getting paid $12,500. So listen, you're not getting $12,500 off the sales price. You're not getting anything by not using a real estate agent. And they don't do that because no realtor would ever show their property again if they knew they were given discounts.
And here's the things we can point out. Like, I had we had a new construction contract, and the buyer had their pick of lots. Like, the neighborhood has just started, and this is over in Brevard County. So it was only $370,000. Very nice house, very low price point. For what you see, like in Orlando, that house would cost $450,000, but they had their choice of lots. But the builder's premium to have nobody behind them, like a conservation lot, was like $40,000. And like 10%, that's high.
That is,
and we tried negotiating on that; they wouldn't budge on that. But we got them onto a pond for the same price, and water view's worth more than just woods out back and no neighbors. So all these things we know. Plus, you still want to do your inspections on new homes, all those things right there. But Bruce, some bright news right now. Builders are not lowering their prices.
No, they're not.
They're raising them. I've got the numbers year over year. The average price is up 3%, 466.
Okay.
That's
a healthy increase.
Our median price still up 1% from 375 to 380. Last year was 375. Now we're at 380. And so that's going to climb. And this, I think as the rates come down, that appreciation is going to climb. If rates come down 1%, I think that appreciation is going to go up 3 or 4%.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's what you want to do with your real estate plan. Call us. We'll help you with that. I think it's important you talk to Bruce, even if you're not. I talk to people, Bruce, 6 months, a year before they go to sell. Even if you can help them get their credit scores up, get a better rate, know your numbers.
Don't fix your credit yourself. Don't think you're doing yourself any favors. I will help you fix your credit. You don't need to pay a company to do it. just call me 407-250-9144 for the loan arranger. That's 407-250-9144, or WeBringYouHome.com. That's WeBringYouHome.com. My name is Bruce Woodburn. I am the loan arranger. Been lending for 35 plus years. I'm right here in your backyard. Cross Country Mortgage, the largest retail lender in the country. And I'm telling you, we have more programs than you could ever think of. And Cleve was mentioning your low down payment and zero down payment. So you got VA, no down payment. You have USDA, no down payment. A lot of our builder communities have USDA qualified programs. And then you have a conventional with 3% down that I can get you, if you qualify for certain income levels, I can get you a $6,500 you don't have to repay it. You don't have to repay it.
Yep.
Okay. Most of these grants you have to repay. $6,500, you don't have to repay it. I get you that money to help you with your closing costs or your down payment. So there's no excuse not to be in a home. For all of you that are credit challenged or your credit's not impeccable, FHA, 3.5% down. Let's negotiate, seller, pick up some closing costs. There's always options for you. And then when we get back from the next break, I want to talk about who should and who should not be refinancing right now, because I think that the general population, particularly you veterans or anybody that currently has an FHA loan, you are being preyed upon by these predatory lenders, and you don't know they're predatory because a lot of them have your big names like your USAA, your Veterans United, all these VA companies that cloak themselves.
They're getting churned.
They're churning them. They're churning them. But what happens is they're telling you they can save your money and it won't cost you any money out of pocket because we can put it all in the loan. But you don't want to keep doing that. And if interest rates drop, you might not be in a position to refinance again because you already did it once. So don't get caught up. If you want to get on my VIP list, and that is a waiting list for when you should refinance, then you call or text me right now. Write this number down. I'm the only lender that's going to tell you don't refinance right now. Okay. There's nobody else. Nobody's stupid enough to say that. Okay. I'm stupid enough to say that.
You're helping them with their,
because
they got to know their numbers.
Because it's the right thing to do. Write this number down: 407-250-9144. 407-250-9144. Call or text, say, I want on your refi list, and then I'll get some details from you and we'll get you on that refi list.
Got 1 or 2 minutes left? You got 1 or 2 minutes left?
Yeah, we got 1.5 minutes.
All right. I got one thing I want to talk about here. All these real estate gurus are popping up on the news stations talking about how 2025, they're optimistic for good reason, though. There's nobody saying our interest rates are right below 7%, right below 7% now. Nobody's saying they're going to 8% next year. We all know the Fed's going to cut. We know the economy is going to get faster. We've been in the doldrums for 3 years, thanks to Sleepy Joe. And also, we've only had 2 to 3% appreciation, mostly across the board on real estate. That's going to climb. So now's the time to act, and you really need to do that. But you can call me at 407-352 if you're thinking about, it's going to be 352-8118. If you're thinking about selling or buying, or you got property management problems, you're tired of not getting rent, you're not getting
real estate planning.
If you want to make your real estate plan, we got our Leapfrog seminar coming up on the 22nd, and but just call me or go to cleveloveland.com.
Yeah, or you can always watch this show on our YouTube channel
on the interweb.
Yep. On the interweb, go to Bruce Woodburn, the Loan Arranger. You can see it there. We're on Spotify and iHeartRadio. We are on the Twitter. I don't know a lot about the Twitter, but we are on it. And I know that Jeanette always helps me out with all that. But listen, Cleve and I are here to make sure that you always have all the right information. You don't get a fast talking sales pitch from either one of us. We have nothing to sell. We have services to provide. And if you're a buyer's agent, you don't even pay for those services. When it comes to your mortgage, I don't charge any lender junk fees. And if you want to refinance, you don't pay any any lender fees to refinance. We'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Loan Arranger radio show. So don't go anywhere. Cleve Loveland at cleveloveland.com, 407-352-8118, or the Loan Arranger at 407-250-9144. I'll be back in 5.